Hi, this message is for those of you who are in 911. I want to talk with you about your own risks, about your vulnerability, because inherently in your job, you're going to be exposed to things, to incidents, to situations that put you at risk for PTSD and compassion fatigue, anxiety disorders, and the like. There's a pervasive sense in 911 because we were associated with paramilitary organizations that if you're tough enough, the job won't get to you. And that's BS. That's absolute baloney. And it's hurting people. And people are dying because of it. And we need to change that. We need to recognize our own humanity. We need to recognize that the job is hard, and it's hard on us emotionally, not just because of the calls that come in, which can be devastating, which can be so difficult to navigate because they put at risk our sense of safety in the world. They put at risk our sense of the goodness of humanity, and they put at risk our sense of keeping our children safe. It can be really life altering to work these calls and realize that people are very awful. People can be horrible. Now, there's also so much goodness in the world, but for me, I lost sight of that. At one point, I was so jaded with the constant problems that we had with teenagers in our community. It was a suburb, and it was actually a fairly well off suburb. But our teenagers, my goodness, they were so destructive, and a lot of times the petty crimes that we were experiencing were done by teenagers. And I finally started looking at my kids' yearbook so that I could see the names of kids that I'd never heard and I had never run. I didn't know their last name spelling or their date of birth because there were a pocket of kids in town that I knew all that I could remember their date of birth because I had run them so many times. And so that sense of safety, that sense of well-being in my own community was larger than just a sense of my own physical safety. It was a way of viewing the world that wasn't what I had come into it with. It wasn't me. The result of this constant exposure to a different way of viewing the world, a more negative way of viewing the world, can be devastating. It can lead to depression. Now, depression is often an absolute inability to get up and do. People who are severely depressed really struggle even to make it from the couch to the shower. It is a struggle when people are depressed in that way. What we don't realize and don't often recognize is that there's also a high functioning depression where people get up and they do what they need to do. They go to work, they get the job done, they go home, they get done what they need to do, and they are subject to a completely drained way of life. There's nothing there. There's no joy. There's no sense of well-being. There's no life in their life. It can be really challenging to be completely numb all the time. And what can happen is people start to believe that the world will be better off without them. if you're there, I want you to recognize that you're there. That thought that the world would be better off without me, that my kids would be better off without me, that my family would thrive better if they didn't have to deal with me, that is an extremely dangerous thought. What we don't often realize is that thoughts become things. Anything that's made by humans started out as somebody's thought. If you look at my glasses, the shape of my glasses was somebody's idea. The material that they're made of is somebody's idea. Before it became something physical, it was someone's idea. And that idea has the potential to become something manifest in the world. If you have an idea like that, even once, I beg of you, command you, beseech you, exhort you, get help. Get help now. And I know that that's a hard thing to ask. Looking for a therapist can be really hard. If you don't know of one, you don't have an EAP in your workplace, well, you start with your EAP if you have one. But if you don't have an EAP in your workplace, go to the Psychology Today website. They have an interactive tool where you can put in your zip code and you can look for a therapist. And I suggest you look for a trauma therapist. And if there's not one nearby, see if you can find one with telehealth. It's one of the benefits of having gone through COVID is that the rules changed around telehealth. Remote therapy is not ideal, but it's way better than nothing. Way better. If you can't find a therapist or you're completely resistant to therapy, I suggest that you find a faith leader, a pastor, a priest, a rabbi, an imam, someone who is a spiritual leader in your community, a chaplain. We are training 911 chaplains at the 911 Chaplain Academy, which is an offshoot of the 911 Chaplain Initiative. So we do have chaplains who are specifically trained for 911. So if you need a chaplain and you don't have one, you can reach out to me, find my email address, and send me a message. Reach out to someone, because that thought can become a thing. And frankly, we don't want to lose you. You bring something so special. You bring something so special to this world, something unique and something that is delightfully and unapologetically you. And I deeply value you, and I want you to be around for a long, long time, because I believe your life is worth your effort. So call.